Back in 1947, the biggest threats to an Indian citizen were immediate and highly visible. Communicable diseases like cholera and tuberculosis accounted for 70% of the nation's health burden. This chart shows how those historical threats have been neutralized. Notice the steady drop in communicable diseases, down to about 30% today. Lifestyle diseases have surged past 60% to take their place. We survive the infections that used to kill us, only to be compromised by what we consume every day. We eat meals outside our homes, ingest chemical compounds in our produce, and self-medicate with powerful pharmaceutical drugs. We are living longer than ever before, routinely passing 70 years of age. Yet the invisible ingredients in our daily food and medicine now dictate whether those extra decades are actually worth living. For decades, the FDA operated under a 1950s law designed for a simpler economy. The main job was catching crude tricks, like watering down milk at an outdoor distribution point. That mandate expanded with the FSSAI Act of 2006. Regulators were given the legal framework to enforce strict 360-degree biological safety standards across massive, complex supply chains. But laws require execution. In Maharashtra, FDA Commissioner Tukaram Mundhe is using these legal tools to audit the entire ecosystem of food and medicine consumption. The modern FDA functions as the frontline defense against a systemic biological crisis, policing the exact molecular inputs that sustain 13 crore people. Commissioner Mundhe's strategy targets the source. Rather than randomly checking a dish at a restaurant, the agency enforces universal phosphorus licensing, forcing every food business operator to prove they meet 22 specific safety benchmarks based on their financial turnover. The scrutiny starts with strict definitions. Pure whole milk legally means liquid drawn directly from an animal with absolutely nothing added or removed. Many of the packets sitting on store shelves are actually reconstituted powders mixed with water, legally classified as milk products, not pure milk. The agency is also breaking up forced consumer spending. Restaurants are legally mandated to provide free, filtered, potable water to every customer who walks through the door, removing the pressure to buy packaged bottles. By forcing compliance at the licensing and operational level, the state intercepts exploitative practices long before a compromised plate of food ever reaches your table. The pharmaceutical side of the ledger is even larger. Maharashtra alone hosts over 900 registered allopathic manufacturers, pumping out billions of dollars in highly regulated chemical compounds. When a medicine expires, it must be destroyed through a highly specific protocol. But audits have revealed an illicit shadow economy where expired stock is hoarded, secretly relabeled, and pushed right back onto pharmacy shelves. Cutting off this revenue stream triggered an aggressive response. State politicians recently claimed drug distributors pooled together 250 crore rupees simply to engineer Commissioner Mundhe's transfer out of the department. When you enforce biological safety laws at scale, you automatically dismantle highly profitable illegal networks. Public Health Administration becomes a daily high-stakes confrontation. Antimicrobial resistance poses a more persistent threat to public health than even the largest drug cartels. This happens on a cellular level. A doctor prescribes a 3-day course of antibiotics to fight an infection. The patient takes the first pill, feels better, and stops. That single dose kills only the weakest bacteria, leaving resilient cells intact. Those surviving cells mutate and rapidly multiply. The next time, the antibiotic bounces right off them. We see this today with tuberculosis patients no longer responding to treatment. To slow this down, the FDA is strictly enforcing Supreme Court guidelines on how pharmacies operate. Pharmacists are barred from dispensing these powerful antibiotics without a formal prescription written in clear, readable capital letters. A patient trying to save money on a full dosage, paired with a pharmacist eager to make an over-the-counter sale, results in the creation of invincible pathogens that jeopardize the entire medical system. When someone steps in to aggressively enforce these laws, the public reaction is immediate. Citizens want a cinematic hero, a Singham to sweep in and single-handedly fix the system. The reality is far less glamorous. Officers executing these mandates face constant punitive transfers. Their families endure the collateral damage of uprooted lives, with children constantly changing schools and struggling to form basic friendships. A government cannot function by relying on a few individuals willing to sacrifice their personal lives. It is mathematically impossible for a single administrator to monitor the daily food and medicine intake of 13 crore citizens. This brings us to the NIMBY, or not in my backyard syndrome. We demand systemic cleanliness, but throw our own garbage outside our front doors, assuming the mess is now someone else's problem. But public health is a global commons. The pollution you toss on the street breeds the bacteria that enters your home. The antibiotics you misuse breed the resistant infections that will eventually attack your own family. Protection requires active participation. When you walk into a restaurant, you have to scan their FSSAI license QR code. When you are prescribed a 3-day course of medication, you must take every single pill. A dedicated civil servant can set the boundaries of the law and disrupt the illicit markets. But a society only survives when its citizens stop outsourcing their biological safety to the government.